Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Does it, I'm trying to test whether or not it's recording in their voice. Oh, yeah, because we're having problems. Okay, just curious. Yeah, so I'm just using it so I can see what we've got.
Are you good, Pam, then? As good as we're gonna try. Okay, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance then. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Just a few announcements. I'd ask you all to please silence your cell phones. Our meetings are public and recorded. This is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes. For best sound quality, please remember to lean into these microphones to speak. So with that, we will call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. And next up will be roll call.
Alderperson Schwarzkopf,
Here.
Alderperson Giebert is absent, Alderperson Reinecker,
Here.
Alderperson Hannibal,
Here.
Alderperson Demond,
Here.
Alderperson Nevoy,
Here.
Alderperson Dojan is absent, and Alderperson Peel.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and conduct some business this evening. First item, I'd call for a motion to approve the financial statements.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll start roll call voting with Schwarzkopf.
A. 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 A.
Okay, motion carries. Next item, I call for a motion to approve the estimated and listed bills.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the listed bills. Any further discussion? Roll call voting that starts with Reinecker.
A. 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 A.
Okay, that motion carries. Pam, is there any additional bills to be considered? Okay, she says no, so we'll move on from that. We are now up to correspondence, public and guest comments. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have items A through G. Does anyone wish any individual item to be pulled out and discussed separately? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and call for a motion on the consent agenda items.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call voting that starts with Hannibal.
A. 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 A.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we'll shift to reports and we will start with Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Under Finance Committee, the only thing we've got listed are the CDs and investment opportunities. At the last council special meeting, we did approve to update or move the 2 CDs that were coming due on the 22nd, and those have been moved to Buena Vista and are enrolled. We will have 2 more coming up on December the 20th. And I talked with Liz, we're going to do the same thing as last time. We're going to get latest updated rates right before the meeting, and then we will move on to make a motion to do something with those.
Okay.
And that's all we have under finance.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll shift to Personnel Committee.
On the Personnel Committee, I have a resignation from Carol Devenue from the Library Board. Looks like she put it 9/30/2023. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept her resignation from the Library Board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the resignation of Carol Bevenu from the library board. Any further discussion? Roll call voting, that starts with Demond.
A,
A.
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 Okay, motion carries. Anything else?
no, Mayor.
Okay, next up is public health and safety.
We have one item. We have a letter, or resignation letter from Daniel Smith, who is a part-time officer. I make a motion that we accept his letter of resignation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the Daniel Smith resignation. Any further discussion? Roll call voting, that starts with Neboy.
A.
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 A,
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Okay, next we'll shift to Public Works and I will take that one. First item up is utility tap fees ordinance number 1528 for consideration. I'll let our city
Yeah, this-
superintendent speak on that.
This was just what was discussed at the committee meetings. I did, there was one minor change that I didn't realize on one of the tap fees. I had that updated, but that is updated in here. I had one of the numbers wrong in there, so but it is updated in here. We just request approval of the updates to the tap fees.
I'll call for a motion.
So move.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on ordinance 1528 for the tap fees. Any further discussion? Roll call voting, that starts with Peel.
A.
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 A,
A.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is authorization to purchase a replacement truck and equipment, and I will also let Josh speak to that.
This is for the replacement of truck 18, which is a 2001 GMC diesel. So had it quite some time and, more and more problems we have with the diesels. So we're trying to see about updating that. We received one bid from Ed Morse Ford for the truck only in the amount of $52,715. And this is an F-450. And NAPI truck equipment for the equipment, which is the bed, the spreader and the plow. For $44,970.84 for a total of $97,685.84. A little more than what we had in the budget, but after talking with Liz and I did talk to Kurt about it. And knowing we have some other trucks coming up, like next year in the budget was a replacement for truck 6, but we've since discussed down there that the truck's in good shape. So we're just gonna look at next year, like doing just a bed and a spreader replacement and keep everything else. So that way, this will then kind of get all of, after we kind of potentially can do this along with that next year. And then once we do get the truck in, would request authorization to sell 18 and the plow, the current 18 with the plow on Gov Deals. By the time it's all said and done between the two, we'd be looking at still a net positive of, between $40,000 and $50,000. I did verify, talked to Kurt, he was good with it. I also spoke with Liz to make sure on the capital plan, updating accordingly to make sure this proper stuff is funded where it needs to be. So I would just like to request authorization to move forward with the purchase of this replacement truck. For the purchase of the truck from Ed Morse Ford and the equipment at NAPI Truck Equipment for the total of $97,685.84.
Josh, was it 97, 685, 80,
84.
84?
Okay, I'll call for a motion on that.
So move.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the purchase of a replacement truck for number 18, as well as the equipment from two separate vendors. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I do. I got a question, Josh. Is there a need to get a new plow and everything? Can we not?
Well, the 18, the plow, because that's an older truck, you have to, when you get the new truck with the setup and everything. So that's why when we go to 6 next year, we won't do a new plow. It'll just be a spreader and a bed because the bed's rusted out. But with the new truck, we don't have any, we have a plow per truck. So the plow that goes with the current 18 is fit for that GMC versus a Ford.
Okay.
Any other questions before we do voting? Hearing none, we can go ahead with roll call voting with Schwarzkopf.
A.
A. A.
A,
A.
Okay, motion carries. And I'm not aware of any other public works items, so we'll shift to zoning.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have on here is ordinance number 1529, dangerous and unsafe building at 704 Locust. We discussed this at the committee meetings, kind of a guideline for this. So I'd like to entertain a motion to accept ordinance number 1529.
So you're making that. a motion?
Making a motion, sorry.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on ordinance 1529. Any further discussion on it?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm gonna make the assumption that we have talked to these people many times and tried to get this rectified before we send these notices.
I've spoken to them, not recently. They've been in and out of there. They were down in, I think in Birmingham or somewhere for about 6 years. We have gone back and forth with them for years and years and years about their upkeep of their place and their
Right.
yard.
Right.
I have not spoken to them directly about their garage.
Man, I just wanted to know if we had contacted them previously about it because, it could be rectified without having to go through all this is my question.
I'd be happy to talk to them, but I can guarantee you what the answer is gonna be, but that's.
Yeah, that's fine.
Put a heads up. Okay, we've had the motion, we've had the second. Any further discussion? Okay, we will proceed with voting then. It starts with Reinecker.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
Motion carries.
that's all, Mayor.
That's all for that. Okay, we will now shift over to cultural committee items.
Yeah, I have a request, Mayor, for the Redwood High School National Honor Society to collect at the four-way stop on November 18th, 2023 from 7 to 11 in the morning. And they are actually going to be selling Krispy Kreme donuts at the square. So I'd like to make a motion, we accept their request.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and a second on the request from the Redwood High School National Honor Society for the collection to sell Krispy Kremes on November 18th. Any further discussion? Roll call voting. That would start with Onabet.
hey,
hey,
Hey.
Yeah,
Hey,
hey.
Okay, motion carries. Is that it for that?
yep, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anything from executive session minutes review to report?
No, there isn't.
Okay, next up then would be Planning Commission.
thank you, Mayor. We had a hearing last month for allowing a special use permit for Domino's to add a pickup window on the north side of the old Editing Drugs building. Ordinance number 1530. The Planning Commission recommended that approve that, and it is written in here as ordinance number 1530. I would like to make a motion to accept that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept ordinance 1530. Any further discussion on that? Okay, hearing none. Roll call voting. That starts with Demond.
hey,
Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey, hey,
Okay, motion passes.
that's all I have.
That's it. Okay. Anything from Economic Development Commission, Mike?
Nothing, Mayor.
Okay. Kyle's not here this evening, so recreational facilities has nothing that I'm aware of. And then if we shift to Parks and Recreation Committee, you'll find meeting minutes from October 4th and November 1st in your packets. From that, we'll move on. There is no old business. We will shift into new business, review of the calendar, siren testings tomorrow at 10 a.m. Library Board meets Thursday, the 9th. Just a side note, City Hall and the utility plant is closed on the 10th of November as well as the 23rd and 24th. November 20th, we have back here for committee meetings at 6 p.m. and then Planning Commission would be at 7 p.m. on the 21st. And if you would strike the Economic Development Committee meeting that's noted on the 29th, that is not going to happen. So please X that out from your calendars. Are there any other updates to the calendar anyone's aware of? Okay. We're at the point for any other comments?
Mayor,
Yes.
if I could, I would just like to let everybody know that Planning Commission is still looking for 2 new members. If you know anybody or have any recommendations, please forward those to me.
Okay. Anyone have any other comments? I'd just like to pause a moment and recognize one of our Planning Commission members that we lost recently. That would be Larry Maring. He has served on the commission for quite a few years and passed away on October 18th. I'd also like to pause a little bit retroactively and recognize Lauren Harms, who served on our library board for many years and actually was president at the end and passed away June 12th. So we would just have a moment of silence for both of those men who have served our community. Okay, thank you. Any other comments this evening? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
We have motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned at 6:13 PM.